So we're back for today's breakfast bite. This morning I'm joined by another guest from Torch Trust. It's Paul Rhodes. Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Nathan. Very good to see you. Very good to be with you again.
Yes, wonderful to see you again. I understand you've had a great spring.
Yeah, it's been an exciting one so far, doing silly things like walking up Snowdon. But yes, it's good fun. It is. It's nice to be able to get out there and see the wonder of nature, as it were.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very windy up Snowdon, though, let me tell you.
I can imagine. I can imagine. But even if it is a little bit less comfortable outside our comfort zone, it is good for us. And as you say, wonderful to be able to enjoy nature in all
Yeah,
its glory and splendor.
absolutely, absolutely. And it was a good day. Lots of people, lots of chatting as well. People like to talk when they're going up a mountain. So
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, there
I
you go.
enjoy that a lot. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to see you again. What have you got for us for today's breakfast bite then?
Yeah, so I was thinking about today and what I could bring. I'm a morning person. I like the mornings. I get up early, even when I don't have to. I'm normally up by 6. A lot of the time, I'm waking up at about 5, so it can be up quite early sometimes. And I like the morning. I like the peacefulness of it, and I like the fact that a lot of people don't like it. I like that that I know I'm on my own a lot of the time.
I see.
But one of the things I always find when I am on my own, when I get up early, is focusing on something can be very hard, especially if it's just one thing. Focus on lots of different things and sort of keep your mind scattered is quite easy. And I wanted to talk today about focus and what we put our focus on. So there's so many things that are vying for our focus all the time, our attention, whichever way you want to put it. So many things all the time vying for our attention, whether it's family, TV, phone, radio, friends, work, social media, or especially for me, the random thoughts that go through my head from time to time as well. I'm one of those that I can be in a conversation and it is literally that little butterfly that's flying past. I'm gone. I'm focusing on something completely different. And sometimes they're not bad things that go for our attention. Sometimes they're good things. Sometimes, of course, they're not. And it's what do we give into? What's important? What's needed? And these, like I say, these things are not necessarily bad. Family, it's not bad to focus on your family. If you've got friends in need, it's not bad to focus on your friends in need. Work, of course, it's not bad to focus on that. Even social media sometimes, it's not bad. And they can all be valid and a lot of the time important for us as well to pay our attention to. It depends what our focus should be on at the time. I mean, while this is being broadcast, a lot of us will be on our way to work. It may be driving in the car. And if you're driving in the car and your focus at that time is on your mobile phone, firstly, stop it. Secondly, it can be dangerous. If you're getting your kids ready for school and your focus is on your phone or on the TV or something else that's going on in the house, your kids might end up leaving for school, especially if they're younger, without a PE kit, or if they're a bit older, maybe they're packed lunch, because your focus is elsewhere. There's sometimes you need to keep your focus on the main thing. There's a well-known story in the Bible, in Matthew 14:25-30, just those 5 verses. And it's about the disciple Peter walking on the water. Now, I know most people will think, no, this story is about Jesus walking on the water, and absolutely it is. But these 5 verses are about Peter walking on the water. And Peter, there's this whole thing of them being in the boat and Jesus comes walking along the water. They think he's a ghost. He tells them not to fear, which he says quite a lot. Calm down, guys. It's all right. It's just me. And Peter says, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water. And Jesus says, come. It's me. Come. And Peter gets out of the boat and steps onto the water and walks on the water. And then, of course, after a couple of steps, he gets distracted. He's seeing the wind, he's seeing the choppy waters, he's thinking, I've just got out of a boat, I am now on water, and he starts to sink. And of course, Jesus pulls him back out. But Peter's focus had changed. He got out of the boat focusing on Jesus, started to sink when he focused on the things that were happening around him. And that's when the problem came. He started off his focus in the right place. And then he started to look at his completely surreal situation. I don't think many of us will ever be in that situation, but there'll be situations that we can compare to, I'm sure. But this completely surreal situation that he was in, and he started to sink. If Peter had carried on focusing on Jesus, he would have been okay. His situation wouldn't have changed. It would have still been windy. The sea still would have been choppy. It still would have been an incredibly surreal situation, but he wouldn't have started to sink. He would have been okay. As a Christian, I believe my focus should be on God first and foremost. But I know there's a lot that tries to force my focus elsewhere. Some of it good, valid, some of it bad. There will be situations that I have to go through, have been through, that will be hard, unpleasant, sometimes downright awful. And that's true for all of us. And it's easy at these times in our lives to take our focus off God. This is where I believe it is most important to keep our focus on him. Like Peter, the situation might not change. It might be horrible. It might be awful. The situation might not change. But I'd rather have God with me when I'm going through tough times than not have him with me at all. There's a verse or a couple of verses in Hebrews 12 that I think get read a lot in churches. I don't know how well they're known outside of church. But I'm reading this from the Amplified version of the Bible. The Amplified version gives so much more detail. Sometimes it takes a very thick book and makes it a lot thicker. But it's great to try and understand a little bit more what the writer was saying. And this is what it says, the first 3 verses of Hebrews 12. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded, and this goes back to chapter 11, where it talks about a lot of men and women of faith. Is that therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses who by faith have testified to the truth of God's absolute faithfulness, stripping off every unnecessary weight and the sin that so easily and cleverly entangles us, let us run with endurance and active persistence the race that is set before us, looking away from all that will distract us and focusing our eyes on Jesus, who is the author and perfecter of faith, the first incentive for our belief and the one who brings our faith to maturity, who for the joy of accomplishing the goal set before him endured the cross, disregarding the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God, revealing his deity, his authority, and the completion of his work. Just consider and meditate on him who endured from sinners such bitter hostility against himself. Consider it all in comparison with your trials, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Even Jesus had to keep his focus on God. Just before he went to the cross, he prayed a prayer. God, if you can take this cup from me, please do it. But then he says those incredible words, but not what I want, not my will, but your will be done. And I think Jesus went through that for us as a man. He went through that for us, felt the same things that we feel, struggled in the same way that we struggle. And yet he was willing to say that and endure this awful punishment really brought on him from us. And because of that, we need to keep our focus on him. He will see us through the bad times. He'll see us through the good times. Doesn't mean they won't happen, but he'll be right there next to us when they do, making it easier for us to get through.
Wow, brilliant! Thanks so much, Paul. I love that idea of keeping our focus on Jesus. It is so important, isn't it? And you gave some great examples at the beginning about when we're, for example, getting ready for going to work or getting ready for the day. We can easily get distracted by things that are just not helpful. And as you say, many of them are perfectly good things, but they're just it's not right at that moment. And when it comes to our Christian walk, we've got to keep our eyes on Jesus. Otherwise, with all that goes on around us, we're not going to be able to keep going, are we?
No, there are so many things, you watch the news, it's awful, but a lot of the time, just the things that are going on in our very lives, they're a big draw away, aren't they? Sometimes because they're not always easy to get through. So, we need to keep our eyes on him because he will strengthen us and he will help us. He'll encourage us and he'll see us through. Never let me down yet.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Paul. It's been a pleasure to hear from you again. Hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Great to be with you as well. God bless.